Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is our Parenting Talk series. These are 30-minute recorded videos with subject experts to bring information to our parents, because we know how busy parents can be. Little Monkey, we're always here to give information for parents to bring you the latest and greatest so that you can make informed decisions, whether that is to take your kids on a weekend where to go using our child-friendly directory on our website, or any issues pertaining to parenting. So the issue today we're talking about is sleep training, the good, the bad, and is it right for your family? So we have today our expert that we invited, Mandy To. Hi, Mandy.
Hi, Jen. Hi, everyone.
So Mandy is from Good Night, Good Day Sleep, Child Sleep Consultancy. And so Mandy, just give us a little brief introduction of yourself first and to our audience.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Chen. And hi, everyone. I'm Mandy. I'm a mother of 3 and the founder of Good Night, Good Day Child Sleep Consultancy. I'm a psychology graduate and have been working as a behavioral therapist to children with diverse learning needs for many years until I became a mother. So I took a pause from my work and have been a full-time mom for 7 years. I think highly on creating a healthy sleeping habit for my 3 children, and thankfully they're all awesome sleepers. So I started having friends around asking for tips to help the children sleep better, which leads me to take the course of a child sleep consultant, not only to share as a mommy, but also to coach as a professional consultant. I trust that when your child sleeps well, the whole family sleeps well too, and that when you have a good night, you will have a good day.
Yep, very true. At least in my case.
Yeah, true.
So we know, right, when baby's born, since they've been inside our womb for 9 months during the whole pregnancy and everything, it takes some time for them to adjust when they're coming out. So the sleep is around the clock. They nurse around the clock because artists, they sleep and eat nursing. Now, sleep training. There's definitely 2 camps there, right? There's the camp that's totally against it because, one, they think children should naturally go their way. They shouldn't have to fit our schedule. They shouldn't have to follow the adult schedule. On top of that, there's that all important bad phrase, CIO, or cry it out, where some parents in the old, I've read about this stuff too when I was doing training for my kid, where some expert actually tell parents, oh, just let them cry, they'll be fine, they'll tire themselves to sleep. That can lead to a sense of abandonment and such traumatizing of their sense of security. And it can really have long-term repercussion for the child. And that's something that we definitely don't want to have. On the other hand, the good idea of sleep training, or the ones that support sleep training, is that, children and babies benefit from being on a schedule. They like knowing what's happening next. So Melinda Hawk, for instance, she would explain, which is a specialist in, what is it, The Secret of Baby. I forgot the Secret Talking of Baby. I forgot the title, but I have to get back in. Basically, she's like, whenever you're changing a baby's diaper, you tell them, I'm changing your diaper now. So they know what's happening. And over time, they associate that. And the thing with sleep training is just like, and as an adult, we like to know what's happening next. The baby likes to know what's happening next. And when that works, then both sides, the parents and the child both understand each other. And as you mentioned, when there's a good sleep, the parents are happier, and when there's happier, the family's happier as well, because it's less stress, because the baby can sense your stress. So that's the camp that's for it. Now, obviously, we know you're for sleep training because you're a sleep coach. What do you say to the camp that's against it?
I would say building up a healthy sleeping habit is good for everyone, kids and adults, and that is what Good Night, Good Day is doing right now. Usually, there are 2 types of parents coming to me: expecting parents trying to get well prepared and get ready to build up a healthy sleeping habit for their coming baby. So expecting parents are joining newborn classes so as to get a glimpse of how to take good care of a newborn's challenging sleep at the first few months of their lives. The second types of parents coming to me are exhausted parents trying to find a way to restore sleep, not only for their babies, but also for themselves. So for expecting parents, I'm highly devoted to provide them with the correct sleep knowledge, letting go of the so many myths about newborn sleep, and only hold on to the right knowledge of the appropriate way to take good care of the sleep. And also, very importantly, to provide safe sleep to their precious babies. Yeah, so for exhausted parents coming to me to restore sleep, so this is another kind of sleep coaching, and I would say that is where all the controversy is about, because it involves crying. So usually parents who oppose to sleep training are worried about the crying happens during sleep coaching, and that will do psychological harm to babies and children, which is completely understandable, because no one else want to see their babies or even children to keep crying until they are worn out to sleep. So this is how bad sleep training is usually being portrayed, I would say, because as only using the cry it out method, right? Letting the child cry until they sleep.
It's synonymous almost. People see sleep training, they see cry it out, and
definitely. So, but just like there are many different educational philosophy, like Montessori, like Waldorf, there are also a number of different sleep coaching methods, ranging from gentle method to extinction method, like cry it out, from highly involvement from parents to low involvement from parents. And just like every parent will choose the schooling that they believe would do good to their children, they can actually choose the level of involvement in sleep coaching. So they always have a say when their babies and children are having sleep challenges and they need the help from child sleep consultant like me. They can always have a say. They can always involve and make a choice to ensure the sleep training benefits the children in a safe way. So this is very important to know. And one thing to pay attention is crying as a normal way of communication for babies, I would say. When they're yet to have any language, they will use babbling, they will whine, they will cry to communicate when they have whenever they have need or have feelings, right? So when we bring in changes in sleep too, I would say some crying of uncertainty is inevitable. But for Good Night, Good Day, I always have my parents to respond to every single cry consistently. So it is through the repeated immediate response to our children's active communication, we help build up confidence on us and also on the children, and get to know that whenever they have a need, their papi and the mama are going to be there for them. So we never ignore a need. So instead of risking the sense of security of babies and children undergoing sleep coaching, I would ensure that Good Night, Good Day, we brings in the sense of security instead, and at the same time also brings in a better sleep change.
That is very key. I mean, the first part you mentioned about the different parents have different ways that they want to approach it as well. So that's amazing that you listen to them, because at the end of the day, I know there are some sleep training programs, even some articles out there that says if you want to do sleep training, you have to, I heard exactly, follow exactly the sleep coach, or it doesn't work. And I'm just like, well, what if it doesn't work for me? Like, what if I don't believe in a certain part of it? And I like the flexibility of what you're saying to me as well. The second part, of course, is equally important, or if not more important, is making sure that the kids' needs are met, right? The baby, even at 1 year old, 2 years old, there's a lot of needs. They need us to be there for them, and that making sure that they're not crying out, and the moms, it's also reassuring the parents that they can comfort the child as well. So thank you for letting us know, that there is a good side of sleep training in that sense. So I was doing a lot of research on sleep training, and we came up with, okay, so this is what we're gonna do. And we started about maybe 3 weeks into almost a month. So for my daughter, she actually went into it very easily, and my son was like a month and a half before we started doing sleep training, and we followed the method. So we took bits and pieces from all the different researchers of what we like and like. So, and then they were in a week, they were able to sleep through the night. So we were so lucky, right? But because of that, I've never used a sleep trainer before, or a sleep coach like yourself. So can you just give us an overview of what is the process? Like, how does this sleep coaching work? What are the steps to do it with a parent, so we get a little more idea of it?
Okay. Well, for us, I provide the best bit of sleep coaching to the child as well as the parents. I think both are very crucial, not only to the baby or child, but also to parent. So I tailor-made sleep plans for every single child according to the age, the character, the parenting style, and the possible enactment in their living space. Well, you know, Hong Kong, right?
Yeah,
so to make sure,
limitation.
yeah, so make sure parents understand and agree with the whole sleep plan, and they're all comfortable and confident to enact it, to assist the babies or children to sleep better in a calm and happy way. And my goal is that after my sleep consultation and after fading off any more of my help, all the parents and the caregivers have already picked up how to handle their children's sleeps, and they're confident to do it independently and like happily, right? Yeah. And as I've mentioned, also there are two types of parents coming to me before. For expecting parents and new parents, well, they can join newborn workshop, and there are 1 year sleep plan, so that for that year, proactively, I can help them go through all the first few challenging months of newborn sleep, and then guide them to build up a healthy sleeping habit at an age-appropriate schedule. You know, the first year, there are lots of changes, dramatic changes. They have growth spurt, they have sleep regression, they will have lots of vaccination, they will be teething, and the baby will fall sick, and then there are naps transition. So all of these, I will take care of that. And for parents coming to restore sleep for the babies and child, I usually will do a 2-week sleep consultation, well, which includes 2 Zoom meetings, well, due to pandemic, right? And then followed by 14 days of close guidance and support. So usually the first meeting is all about getting full understanding of the child's daily routine and how the environmental issue, caregiving style, and the personal character of the child leading to the current sleep challenges. I will then tailor design a sleep plan that will best suit the child as well as the parent, and then teach them how to enact the plan with different response from the child.
You're a whole year you're going through with them, like guiding them. That kind of reassures them. For the experience plan, you mentioned 2 weeks. Like, is that enough 2 weeks? Like, can you give us an example of a case that you've done recently using that 2 weeks? And actually, you know, I hope all of them works, right? Not does it not work
well, up to now, all of them worked. And works well.
Okay,
yeah. I would like to share a case of a 20-month-old girl. So her both 20-month-old girl. So she is like more than 1.5 years old. So both parents work full time, and it is her granny who takes care of her during the day, from Monday to Friday. So weekends she will be with parents. During
very normal in Hong Kong. The grandparents take care of the kids.
Yeah, it's a blessing too, right? We have a family members taking care of our child. So during daytime, the girl naps with her granny on the adult bed, and then she takes bottle and drink formula until she falls asleep. So she nursed to sleep, right? During nighttime, she is nursed to sleep, breastfeeding by mommy, and then shared bed with her parents. She has multiple night wakings, like 4 to 5 times consistently every night. And every single wakings, she needs mom to nurse her back to sleep. Okay, so very tiring for mommy. You can imagine that, right? Yeah.
She survives 20 months of that. That's that's a super mom. Yeah, I don't know if I can handle 4 or 5 times waking up a night and then go to work.
Well, you know, when I was having the meeting with her, she was like yawning, like rubbing her eyes, super tiring.
Totally affect her work for sure.
So that girl, she also has a very late bedtime, like almost 10 p.m. every single night. So mommy is super exhausted, and she desperately needs more sleep. And then she comes to me and wants to win off night feeding, but remain the daytime feeding. Okay, so that was a challenge, I would say. And then so I tailored designed the sleep plan for the girl, make sure parents and I are on the same boat, and of course granny as well, right? So sharing the same goals upon this consultation, and then they must be committed to be consistent to enact the sleep plan of 7 days a week, day and night for the whole 2 weeks. And of course, they have to stay in touch with me for the 2 weeks so that I can make adjustment to the sleep plan according to the response of the girl. Because
stay in touch, like
every
phone or WhatsApp or what?
Usually WhatsApp. They can leave me voice message because while mommy works, she can't be on phone all the time. So whenever she knows, get an update from granny, nap time, morning wake up time, she will contact me and then text me. I know I will like guide them on what to do next. So I will guide them and then also granny on how to move on with the progress and make the sleep plan happen. So after 2 weeks, well, actually 1.5 weeks or so, we actually started to see success. And then after 2 weeks, we bring the girl back to the crib while she's still young. She needs the crib, naps and bedtime consistently in the crib. So she does not rely on having adults to co-sleep with her anymore. She is still on breastfeed during the day, while weekends, right? And before bedtime. But she no longer relied on nursing to sleep anymore. Mommy nurses her before bed, so both of them still enjoys the bonding time. It's very, very crucial, right? But now after bedtime nursing, mommy can put her girl down to the crib with the girl like being awake, and she manages to put herself back to sleep, So upon her night wakings, because I taught parents a certain procedure to handle it, and by the end of the first week, the girl actually stops asking for nursing upon her night wakings and managed to put herself back to sleep. So her night wakings frequency go down a lot, and even she has the night wakings, she self-soothes herself back to sleep. And then bedtime is being pushed way earlier to 8:30 p.m. And of course now, daddy and mommy, they sleep through the night too.
Mommy's probably very thankful.
So this is very encouraging to me, to mommy and daddy too. Of course, granny too.
Thank you for sharing that. That's a great story, and really happy for the mom and dad for sure.
Same here.
In the story, you mentioned that they co-sleep together. Do you find it harder because they co-sleep? Was it harder to do sleep training versus when they don't co-sleep? Even waking up in the clinic, let's say 3-4 times a night.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I would say in Hong Kong, like most of the cases that I have received, they begin with co-sleeping. It's very common in Hong Kong.
I can imagine,
I think, well, even in foreign countries, co-sleeping is very common too.
Especially in Hong Kong, I think.
Yeah, especially in Hong Kong. So it is a little bit more difficult, but we can handle that.
One of my concern when I was pregnant was the milk intake, because as you mentioned, the girl wakes up 4 to 5 times a night seeking nursing, right? So some parents would think that, well, not some parents, I think all parents will be afraid, like if I cut that out, am I cutting out the milk intake, the nutrition that the kid needs, right? So that's one of the concerns, like, am I starving my child? Like, is it okay to starve them to put them to sleep, or do I just it's the need for, or is just, am I training the stomach something else, So or if I do that, would they be getting enough nutrition?
Well, that comes to the question of nursing for physical need, so that I will call a need feed, versus nursing for comfort, and I will call that comfort feed. So need feed versus comfort feed. So I trust that for all mommies, regardless of direct breastfeeding or bottle feeding, or regardless of baby drinking mama's milk or formula, we all can somehow differentiate when our own baby is asking for a need feed or they are asking for a comfort feed. And especially for that, for this case, well, back to the case, she is a 20-month-old. So besides from special physical need, like she falls sick or a special physical real need, we know that as long as she has appropriate dinner food intake, and then with the bedtime nursing, there's actually no physical need during nighttime. I mean, in the middle of the night, she doesn't need that anymore.
Because she's eating solid food already, and she's probably eating more near adult food right now during the day. Most of the nutrition comes from that. Okay. So then a baby will be different then in that case. Like a little baby.
So true. So for a Good Night Good Day, I always suggest parents to respond to a need feed. Well, they need it, we must give it to him, we must provide that, right? But for comfort feed, I would suggest to provide another way of comfort instead of nursing back to sleep. Well, So that another way would be tailored design by me, and then I will discuss and compromise with parents so that they feel comfortable and confident to enact that, right?
Yeah.
So parents are always comfortable, and then they are happy to enact the plan, while babies still enjoy, they still got the comfort while weaning off the age inappropriate feeding during the night. So we are not simply taking weaning off of them. We're still providing a certain kind of comfort to them.
Yeah.
So as I teach that girl self-soothing to sleep at that time, so upon night waking, she can self-soothe herself back to sleep too. So for younger babies, as what you have mentioned, I paid attention to the meal needs according to the age. So the weaning won't be like 5 months, so they definitely need the night feeding during nighttime, right? So also paid attention to growth spurt. Well, 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months, 12 months. We need to pay attention to that, right? So that to make sure all physical needs are sure to be responded and fulfilled.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you addressed that, because for sure, 6 months is when the recommended, kids start on solid, but really solid is just a play. It's more sensory play and more like whetting their appetite a little bit, but not really. The nutrition is still mainly the breast milk, right? One thing I don't agree with you when you said age appropriate feeding, because for me, I think up to 6, 7, I'm in the camp where you can feed. Feeding is fun, but comfort
on demand, right?
Yeah, on demand. Not on demand, like just there is no appropriate age for feeding unless you're talking about like a 30-year-old person or something. Like I've seen toddler feeding and even 6, 7-year-old feeding. I'm okay with that. If the parents wants to continue feeding that's that's because every family is very different on that one. So we're in Little Monkey in the camp of you can feed whenever up to whatever age you feel appropriate for your child, because that nutrition is just it's extra nutrition, extra powerful antibiotics and antigens and everything. But thank you for clarifying the milk intake concern, and thank you for your story, because that was really insightful. You mentioned before sleep regression. Now that's something I know in the first 2 years of my daughter and even my son. So whenever we travel, when traveling was the thing, when we go back to the US, even him, like last year when we came back from the US, when we finally got a flight back and we were stuck there before, there is a sleep regression on that. There's a mess up of the jet lag, we call that. But every couple of months, there's sleep regression where he just doesn't want to nap or he just doesn't want to sleep. How does sleep training address that exactly?
Well, you're right. So sleep regression usually kicks in at babies 4 months, and then 6 months, 8 months, 12, 18, and 2 years. Well, busy years, right? So it represents by a sudden change of their sleep pattern, and then usually from refusing to sleep and to shorten sleep duration. But I would say it is not a must for every child to experience it, and the regress intensity is quite different among children. So for my 3 children, I would say only the third one experienced very high intensity of sleep regression. Well, that was just a few months ago when she turned 2. That was a nightmare to me too. She used to have a very healthy sleep schedule, like 6:30 to 6:30. In between, she has a 2 to 3 hour nap, and then she would even come to me during her tired time, and then she would tell me, "Mommy, I want to go sleep," and she's able to chill at her own crib and then go to bed and sleep through the night. So her sleep regression begins when she suddenly refused nap and then struggle with bedtime, and then followed by multiple night wakings. Wow, I was like, what? Is this true?
Good to know. The sleep coach also has this problem.
Definitely. I'm a mommy too, right? So I experienced that too. So nighttime, which was usually a very chill time to me, my me time, couples time, and work time, because they go to bed very early. But that week was like a super challenge. I'm going in and out of her bedroom to settle her like 20 times at night. Well, literally, right? And it helped her go through the sleep regression. And then finally, after a week or so, I got my feet on the ground and then exhausted. But I'm really happy to have this experience though, because I can better understand, you're right? The struggle and challenging time of parents.
Good to know that sleep coaching addresses this issue of sleep regression, so parents have someone to help them out. I have a question that was sent in before our recording here from an audience about pacifier and sleep. So her kid, she's trying to wean them off the pacifier because I think they're getting ready to go to like play groups and things like that, and she just wants them off the pacifier. But then they really need that to sleep, right? Without it, they're waking up and they're just like, you know, I want my pacifier, I want my pacifier. Daytime is easier, I think, but nighttime, because my son has the pacifier on too at 16 months, so I don't know how I'm going to wean him off of it at nighttime when he's sleeping.
No, mine at 2 years old, she still has it.
She still has
her sleep time. Yeah.
Well, the sleep coaching, well, sleep coaching or your expertise, how would you, what advice to give them how to wean this with sleep?
Well, I would actually need to know the age of the child to give more specific suggestion, but simply picking the right time to wean off is very crucial. We just don't do it like suddenly pick a day, wow, this is the day. We don't do it like that. But when talking about pacifier using and weaning, while for very young babies, as the oral motor skills is still way to develop, is still developing, it is very normal for parents to experience the pickup and reinsert of the pacifier all through the day, and especially during nighttime, as what you have said. For this, all we can do is to help them and wait until the oral motor is being more developed. But for older babies or like toddlers, we actually can teach them to look for the pacifier and reinsert it for themselves. Well, this is something I would do with the parent coming to me. They have some issue with the nighttime and they do not want to wean off the pacifier. We can teach them the skills. Well, I remember I have a video post on my IG and Facebook as well. You can go check it out. It is a 15-month-old boy. He was into pacifier. I respect that because every family is different and every child is different. So we taught him the skills to find it and then pick it up and then reinsert it. And he managed to sleep through the night. Well, we all have night wakings, but we can teach them and equip them the skills to help themselves too. Okay, so back to for young babies weaning off a pacifier, a replacement is always needed. Just like before, weaning off nursing, we will provide them a replacement. We don't just take something away and making them very sad and unhappy. So the replacement, well, can be discussed between parents and us. Maybe it can be their thumb, or maybe it can be mommy's hug. So it's open for discussion. It needs discussion and compromise. For toddler, I would say priming is crucial in weaning off the pacifier. So priming means that, priming. So priming is a term in behavioral therapy. It is to talk to the child, get them prepared psychologically. We don't flood them. Well, in the flooding, we just took it away without like informing them. Just like the flooding to them.
Not sudden.
Not a sudden. We don't give them a tsunami, right? We give them a priming, right? We talk to them, let them have an expectation of what is going to happen. It maybe takes a few weeks. Some child takes a few weeks. Some child only take a week. Some child only a few days. That's different. So we want the wean off to be a peaceful and stressless procedure instead of a flooding and sad weaning. I hope it helps.
Well, if they have more question, for sure, this mommy can reach out to you, I think, as well.
Definitely.
But that's good, like the difference between the toddler versus a baby, right? Baby needs to replace an object, what the toddler does, the prepping as well as depending on how what kind of weaning we're looking at as well. Can you give us, the audience, like maybe 3 or however many tips you want, tips and advice for if they want to try sleep training their own child, like, it's like when I did mine, before, if they can't do it, then they reach out to an expert like yourself.
Well, the first one is the environmental issue. So you will need to have not only a clean room, something like that. We need a very dark room. So darkness creates
Shooting.
melatonin in our brain. So that is a thing that help us feel more tired, help us to like sleep longer and sleep better. So a dark room, environmental thing. And the second thing is every single child, no matter they're baby or toddler or even older children, give them a sleep routine. So it's a thing between mommy, daddy, and the child. Even I have 3 children. Every single children's sleep routine is different. So think about a sleep routine that your child enjoys. Provide them with a lot of soothing, cuddling, and then only when they're all settled, all calm before bed, they sleep way better than that.
Yeah. We used to be sleep routine in a bath when he was younger, but now no longer. Now it's more like brushing teeth, and he knows there's a reading a story with us as well. So that's a different sleep routine.
Yeah, you're so right. It changes according to age, right? Babies, you sing with them, and then older, you read a story to them. And then with my eldest, she's 8 years old already. Wow. So we chit chat. Yeah, we chit chat, we talk, and then sometimes we just sit there, like have a hot chocolate. And so this is our way of chilling. And the third thing, final thing is go to bed early. Okay, because sleep begets sleep. So only when you're sleeping in an appropriate way, I mean, enough sleep, you won't have sleep debt and you will sleep better. So sleep begets sleep. This is my final tip.
Good to know. Well, that brings into the next one, but I'll explain later about our other blog piece about that, about early sleep for kids. But thank you so much, Mandy, for this. Our time's out because we're only doing 30 minutes just to help parents out. As always, we advocate at Little Monkey what works for parents, right? So sleep training, sleep coaching might work for some family, might not. So we hope this information can help them decide if this works for them or not, and if they need to contact you. But always, here, let me give the contact information. So they can see the contact information here, and when you're watching this video as well, it's on the blog with the information as always. A couple of things. Do you have a special, I remember you telling me you have a special for our audience, a Little Monkey audience?
Yeah, sure. So from the day until like 2 weeks after this video it's on, you may use the code of GNGD, a good night, good day, to get a 15 minutes free consultation call to me. And you may do a reservation via the WhatsApp over here. Before you make the call. I hope Little Monkeys fans will be happy with it.
I think it'll be good for those who actually really need it, right? So full contact detail. Next topic, just so the audience know, we do these topics every 2 weeks. So I hope this was really helpful for you. Our next topic is baby wearing, whether, what is the proper way of baby wearing for both the parent and the child, so that, that we're not causing damage to their development, especially for those 6 months and under, right? That's very key development on the hip and the way they're sitting and everything. So join us for that topic. And in the meantime, check out our blog. Our previous post or blog piece is about 5 communication tactics with kids to build better relationship. And the next post we're coming up with is about Hong Kong kids sleeping late. Because that's like something we mentioned about sleeping early, but in Hong Kong, a lot of kids sleep late. And what does this have to do with the long-term effect of this? Is it damaging? What is gonna come up with? So our blogger, Scarlett, our local blogger, is gonna be posting about that one in 2 weeks' time too as well. Thank you again, and I hope to see everyone next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.